Welcome to another edition of Real Estate Rockstars interviews with your host, Hannah. We are interviewing real estate experts or those who are related to our industry. Today, our guest is Stephen Hughes, a real estate rockstars from Salt Lake City, Utah. He is specializing in mobile homes, senior housing, and probate. And guess what? He has been in a real estate industry for I would say only 3 years, but he is already crushing it. Do you want to hear how he made it? Well, beside that, we will also discuss his newly published book and an ebook called The Frugal Real Estate Agent. Oh, the subtitle is my favorite. Listen to this. How to spend less than $1,000 a month on lead generation, marketing, general overhead, and yearly fees and dues. Are you curious? Well, I am. Welcome to the show. I have a question. How did you become entrepreneur? How did you become a real estate agent?
Oh gosh, make a long story short, I used to work in public education. I was a band director. I have a master's degree in music. I still play some. I still do some orchestral gigging. I just did Utah Symphony a couple weeks ago, but I kind of got bored of it, got tired of it, and I was working on my own. You're pretty much self-employed, so I fell into a lot of sales training and entrepreneurship because of music. I was going to get out of music, and I took a job one summer putting up real estate signs. And I met a lot of brokers and agents. And honestly, I thought, well, I could do this. These people aren't that good at their job. And I got interested that way and started studying for my license. And then I was going to take the test, but my test was postponed and canceled because it was in March of 2020.
Wow. You
To,
started with the business right at the beginning of the apocalypse. Wow. What
yes.
did you do?
What did I do?
Uh-huh.
So I had to wait until the end of May because they wouldn't do it online. You had to do it in person. And then I took the test at the end of May, passed it. And then I started up about a month later. It took for all the paperwork and all to come in. I started in July of 2020 at one company. I was there, and now I'm at another company, and I will be opening up my own brokerage here in May because I'll have the years underneath me, but I'll just be like a solo broker. And that's part of the frugal thing is, gosh, a lot of these brokerages will take your money and give you nothing. And I just started really crunching numbers, and I will save $20,000 a year having my own brokerage. Yeah. That's just
Wow, that is impressive. Well, thank you so you were a teacher. That is amazing because that teaches you how to be organized, how to communicate, how to deliver. Like all these are skills which are extremely useful for an entrepreneur and especially entrepreneur in a real estate world. So why don't we dive into your book? Do you have a copy? Can we see it, please?
Yep, I have one little print copy. You can read it in the afternoon, pretty thin, but it's also available for download on Amazon. The physical copy is there that you can get in a couple of days, and of course, you can download the digital one.
Yeah, so that's what I did on our end, and I used a highlighter and I highlighted a lot of useful, interesting stuff. So if we can just not spill all your tools and all your secrets, what are your 3 go-to most favorite marketing or lead generating tools still within a budget? So what's your top 3?
Top 3 is I'm going to say FSBOs actually tie into all of my niches. I mentioned mobile home, senior housing, and probate. FSBOs are all a part of that, and we can talk about that. So FSBOs, referrals from referral partners. And then the third thing would be video. Yeah, and all 3 of those, luckily, obviously this is part of Borino Productions. That's all stuff that's in the Real Estate Rockstars courses. It's in all of those videos because they are pillars to any real estate business. They straight up are pillars. You can still have a niche like I do, but some of those mobile home listings come from calling FSBOs. Some of those senior housing and probate deals come from referral partners with the assisted living communities or attorneys. And then, honestly, I'm one of only 6 agents in Utah that has a YouTube channel. And there's over 17,000 real estate agents in our MLS. It's very powerful. I only really started focusing on it in May. I started off, I had 3 subscribers. Now I have 82.
Wow.
So we're hoping to break 100 after the beginning of the year, and hopefully the end of next year I'll have 1,000 subscribers. Which for a real
How
estate,
about
yeah,
how about we will add a link to your YouTube channel, because
sure.
you can always inspire other realtors, and they can see your style, they can get inspired, and that can help you to get over 100. What you think?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Guys, follow this guy, follow him.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry, I totally interrupted you, but I got
you're good.
carried away. I am making my own notes. So number 1 is FISBO, number 2 is referrals, and number 3 is video. And we all know that video is viral, and it's extremely important because it creates connection, it creates trust. So how much do you invest monthly into budgeting into this specific area in your business?
Into just video
No, I would say like all over. As
or my
being a
overhead?
frugal agent, how much do you invest? Do you keep a track on your budget? Do you
I have
know?
a budget. I have a budget in an Excel sheet. It's funny, before I wrote the book, it was one of the things that led me to writing the book. My monthly budget was close to $2,500. And that did not include commission splits from the brokerage or photos. And still, my budget doesn't, because they're listing dependent and they come out of the listing. So it's a little different. But my overhead that just happens every month is around $400 right now.
Wow. That is extremely impressive. $400. Wow. So once you become your own broker, will that change again?
Um, Not exactly, because I'm not including the commission splits
Mhm.
in that, or photos. So for every listing, my photo and video marketing, I actually have a professional photographer and I do the videos. The photos are like 100, 150,
Okay.
and that comes out of the listing. The brokerage I'm with is a flat fee commission structure. They don't do percentages. I have to pay $200 per closed transaction to the broker. But because I'm doing about 50 deals or more a year, I mean, that 200 times 50, what is that? I mean, that's like 10,000 just there, correct?
Uh-huh.
So that's 10,000. But I have a sneaking suspicion. I just picked up a new client. I'll probably have closer to 75 to 100 listings next year. So then, I mean, you're looking at 10 to $20,000 in savings just by not having to pay the $200 to the broker.
Wow.
Um, yeah, but in terms of my other overhead, uh,
So in the
there's nothing left to lose. Yeah.
walk us through in the $400 of your monthly investment, what does it include?
It's the CRM.
Mm-hmm.
For a CRM, it's $1,000 a year. So you break that up over 12
Yep.
months. My broker dues and MLS dues, which is about $1,500 a year. I pay for, oh, what is it? I guess got to think, because everything's kind of broken up monthly. I pay for Canva,
Uh-huh.
pay for Canva. I pay for ClickFunnels. I don't have a website. I pay for ClickFunnels. That's $1,000 a year. Um, I do about $50 a month in postage. I don't do a lot of direct mail, but I still budget it like $50 for office and postage supplies. I keep saying because I'm having to think. I'd have to look at it. I have to pull it up on my computer, so I write it down because I'm having trouble remembering everything I spend money on. Let's see. I actually don't pay for leads anymore. I used to, but I don't.
Wow. So what do you do? What do you do instead? Paying for leads? Do they come to you?
Well, for the mobile homes, they do come to me because I have enough referral partners. But I still will cold call and cold text mobile homes.
Mm-hmm.
What I found, and I know this is probably an opinion, I found that the dialers that a lot of the companies sell really have problems. They skip over leads. People don't pick up the phone as much, and it's a lot of money. But,
Mm-hmm.
but the FISBOs are there for free. And I found out in my market, most FISBOs put on a website called ksl.com, and the lead companies don't pull on that website. So I was just wasting money with them. It was easier for me to call them directly.
Not
And
only you're frugal, you're also resourceful. That is wonderful.
yeah,
Yeah.
in a slow market, you have to think about that because, I mean, I have a kid, I have a wife. It's like, what if I have 6 bad months?
Well, let's open that subject. How is your market right now?
Um, I think it's one of the slower, worst markets in the US because we had the crazy COVID boom here where everything, I mean, you had houses that were valued around 200,000 that were all of a sudden 500,000.
Oh, wow.
I mean, really bad inflated prices. And some of those areas got hit immediately. Like we have a county that's on the other side of the Salt Lake called Tooele County. That's what happened out there in June immediately. Nothing is selling out there. Stuff is sitting for 6 months. And it's
Mhm.
because the sellers still do not believe the market has changed.
It is very, very hard to make sellers understand that it's not about what they want to get for the house. It's about what the bank is willing to invest and a buyer is willing to spend on the house. That is very complicated. Yeah. Well, give us your point. How do you overcome the obstacle when it comes to pricing?
Well, I mean, it's honestly what you just said. It's like I don't set the price, neither do you. It's the mortgage company and the buyer. And my goal isn't, this is a line I use. I say my goal isn't for you to win the Powerball. This isn't the lottery. And I focus on a lot of people that need to sell. I think the past 2 years, a lot of agents were focusing on people who wanted to sell and who were like, oh, I can get all this money by selling my house. Well, those days are over. You have to find out what was we say the core driving emotion, the CDE of the client. Why are they selling the house?
Yeah.
And that's what you focus on. The price is important to get it sold, but I can't guarantee you're going to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee it's selling because we price it and market it correctly. But if I have a couple clients who are upside down houses. We have their house listed, and but they don't qualify for a short sale at all. But they want out of it, and it's just like, or they have to get out of it. One of them they have to, and it's just like you are going to lose money. That is reality, and it's hard for some people because they've lived in a wonderful fantasy for 2 years, and that I don't think will ever be repeated in our lifetime.
Well, we never know. We don't hold a crystal ball, right?
Uh,
But I agree with you that in the future, which is coming, it is a buyer's market. Yes, yes, yes. What is so with changing economy? Are there any changes you are adding to your daily operation? I know that you will open your own brokerage. You told me also that two of your assistants are no longer your assistants. How are you gonna pivot and change in 2023? What are you changing on your day-to-day operation?
So day to day, I am switching CRMs right now to one that's a little bit more robust. I got to have automation in there. If you don't have an assistant, really need the automation for follow up. And we focus always on just getting more listings. You have to get a listing a week because you know what? Not all of them are going to sell.
Mm.
And they're taking longer to sell. And even
Mhm.
if they're under contract, they take longer to close because of the changing economic factors. If you're not getting a listing a week, you are going to struggle.
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely. Amen to that. Yeah.
I mean, I have 16 listings, and we're honest here. I have two clients that are canceling. One of them is because their circumstances changed. The other one I'm firing. Well, they've been very verbally abusive to the point to where I've had this conversation. I said, I won't handle this anymore because we've talked about it. We have text there. I don't know what's going on there. There's kind of some weird stuff with them, but I'm like, it's not worth it. I'm
Mm-mm.
going to cancel with you.
No, you didn't sign up for this, and you are helping them, delivering value, helping them through one of the most difficult time during the life, right? Selling and buying a home, it's extremely stressful, but the commission does not cover anyone to be abusive, verbally abusive to you. Absolutely never, never, never take that. I agree with you. I'm on your side. Yeah.
But without an assistant, you know what I have found? If you have the system set up, like I don't know if I can find it here. I have been my brokerage has a checklist, right? For when you submit stuff, and a lot of brokerages do, like you're supposed to have this document done, etc. But it doesn't include everything on my end. So I've actually been making one.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it's all admin stuff. what I have found is if I do literally everything I can up front with the listing, I cut out probably 10 hours of admin work during the transaction. For example, like I said, I do these mobile homes. One of the things you have to have is a copy of the title and tax clearance. We do that up front and they have to give it to me or else I won't list it. So things I need from the client, they have to supply before their home is marketed.
Yeah.
And so it gives them an incentive to work with you. Otherwise, if it's already out there, they'll take forever, they'll drag their feet. So things like that, really having rules and processes that, I mean, this is basic business stuff that you adhere to and you copy every single time on every listing. Here's the thing, I have a newer broker and he made a comment that I think is very telling. He said, listen, all houses are the same. They have 4 walls and a roof. There really is not that much. I mean, there is a difference. Yes. But when it comes to our end of things, we don't need to have like a million nuances to market a property. You need to have one system that gets it on MLS, syndicated photos, and advertise it. And you focus on listings. If you pick up a buyer, fine. But I'll tell you, I like that I can go on vacation for 2 weeks and I have only listings. I have no buyers right now. I have only worked 1 buyer this year.
What do you do with buyers? Do you refer them out?
If they're on my listing, no. I just I have them sign what's called an unrepresented buyer form. We're allowed to be a limited agent, but I'll just help them buy my listing. But if it's like a random buyer, typically they're not even serious. So I can't even refer them out because they won't get a pre-approval, they're argumentative, and it's just, I'm like, no, they're not a real client. So they're not even worth referring out.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely agree with what you said about systems, because the transactions are extremely repetitive. The tasks are basically on autopilot, and what you can achieve to be done upfront, it cuts the time later on, or struggle by not having important documents to go through the settlement, or extra, sleepless nights you can have. Yeah. So share with us how many transactions you are doing this year.
I've had like 40 something this year.
Wow. And this is your 3rd year in a business, right?
I mean, it's been 2.5 years. It started in July of 2020. So it's 2.5 years technically, but I said 3,
I love that. Oh my goodness. I love that. How long did it take you to get the first listing, out of curiosity?
My first deal was a buyer, actually, so not a listing. And I closed them in September 2020. My first listing was the end of the same month. It was a duplex. It was very hard. So I started in July, August, September. It was kind of October. I think it was 4 months.
But well, that's still amazing. So you got your license in May, and in July you already had a client, correct?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
it was the paperwork was delayed because of COVID. So I'd have to look back. I kind of have a bad memory about it.
Absolutely amazing. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything what you shared. Guys, please check this out, the Frugal Real Estate Agent. We will post a link for Stephen's book. And if anyone has the questions, please post it down below, because once we'll end up this interview, I would ask Stephen to come back again and talk to us about the beginnings and starting up, because many of you are new real estate agents. And I think hearing from someone who crushed it from the very beginning would be extremely helpful. What do you think, Stephen? Will you come back on board?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview. If you have any questions, as I said before, please post them below, and I am looking forward to see you soon. Be good, be kind, and go get them. Thank you. Bye-bye.